Welcome back, everyone. My name's Tom, and we are back on the 356. Oh.
Garage time.
Real quick, brief history on the car. I've owned it since 1998. I drove it almost daily back then when I lived in San Diego. And I took it fully apart somewhere around 2005, I believe. That's when I put it on a rotisserie, fixed all the metal. It's been painted for about 3 years now. Now it's like final push to get it assembled. I really want this to be running this year. The problem with having a car apart as long as I have is that I need to do an inventory on the parts. I don't know exactly where everything is. I know I have more than I need. A 356 has tens of thousands of parts to make it a finished car, and I probably have twice that. I almost have enough to build 2 cars minus the body. I'm gonna start, I think, with the bumpers and see how many pieces we can get assembled on this 356. It won't be 10,000 today, but wish me luck. This bumper has been hiding out under my kid's bed for a while, so it's actually, I think, safer to have it on the car. One of the difficult things to do with these bumpers is paint the insides of them. They are very difficult to get full coverage inside and out. So this is done really well. A lot of this you won't ever be able to see again. I think M8 is Porsche's favorite size. I'm not really sure why I'm working on the ground other than I just don't want this to fall off the bench. And this is nice and soft here on the ground. So that broke free. So now see how this floats? That allows the bumper to adjust, which is great. And we can just keep getting the paint out of there. I'm gonna back this all the way out, start over. Prefer not to use the tap. Sometimes it's better just to chase the threads with a regular bolt. That way there, you're not removing metal, you're just removing paint. So I'm gonna get a wrench on that. We'll get this to go, all the way through. And then underneath here, there are some bolts that were here to protect the threads. This is where the bumper brackets actually screw in. These are not the correct bolts, but at least the threads are clear. Nice hole there for the bumper to attach. The bottom of this car is pretty much as clean as the top. You can see a little tape there where I got the sound insulation being held in. And I still haven't done the sound insulation down here on the bottom above the transmission, but the wire harness is in, things are starting to come together. I've recruited this helper here. Her name's Dolly. Yeah, without a doubt, this is either entertaining to watch or hard to watch. I'm not sure what. I want to be able to kind of guide it lightly without having to wrestle with it. So these openings right here in the body, that's where the brackets go. They don't get any rubber. There's no protection on there. So you've heard me say it's only metal. Well, this is expensive metal. Forgot to take the bolts out on this side. So you guys know when I get quiet, it means I'm struggling. Not struggling, but really focusing. Got about another 1.5 inches to go. Okay, just one more bolt to go. The 4 bracket bolts are in. I don't know if you're going to be able to see them through there. One of them's right there. There's another one, has some, threads sticking out. See that one right there. And there's another one back there, also pretty loose still. So I'm going to go ahead and snug those up. Also here on the ends, there's some hardware that goes through the body. And I have a bunch of stuff left over from before. These are the correct rubber bits, some spacers, the hardware, and then there's these angle brackets that also clamp it into the body. All right, it's on. I'm gonna have to loosen that bolt just to get that paper out of there, but I'll ignore that for right now. Let's take it off of the strings. I was a Cub Scout den leader for like 6 years. So I learned a lot of cool knots. And that, my friends, is the well-fitting bumper. I haven't even adjusted it yet. No dents or scratches or any damage to the paint. Wasn't even close, didn't even rub. So I got, pretty much 2 fat fingers right there on that side. Pretty even gap along the back. And then on this side, it is slightly looser than two fat fingers, but it's close. And then the sides there, the bumpers, there's rubber between the bumper and the body. those are squeezed down. Let me get an end shot here. Really nice fit with the indent there on the body. Just love the way it wraps around and fits so tight against the body. There it is on the bottom. Getting this to fit correctly is not just luck. I spent so much time before paint getting this bumper to fit in bare metal. And it was a challenge. It was tweaked and bent and it had a crease in it. Those ends were rusted to where the nuts were all like stripped out. This has been a lot of work. So to see it on the car again is great. I'm gonna start a list now. I need to replace the hardware with the correct hardware, replate some of those brackets, and also get some of the tape out from underneath the bumper brackets, some of the blue tape. This is gonna be a long list, so I went with the long piece of paper. This is the backup light seal, so I'm just cleaning it up a little bit, or gasket, just cleaning it up a little bit with silicone oil. A little bit of overspray on there. Don't think I have this one new in my rubber kit, so if I can clean this up to where it's decent, I think this will pass since it's so low down on the car. And this silicone oil really does rejuvenate this stuff. This piece is glass, and I put it in the ultrasonic cleaner and it came out pretty nice. Also hit the rubber gasket with a little bit of the silicone oil. And then this piece here is chrome. It actually might be stainless. It looks like chrome. So I have this stuff called Quick Glow, and it works wonders on chrome. And it seems that a paper towel has just enough abrasive, and this stuff is kind of abrasive too, that I just, this is a little bit grimy right there, and it doesn't take much. It usually cleans it up pretty nice. So some of this will get re-chromed, some things will not. I know like the screws are tarnished, but this may come back to life. We'll see. I found the license plate lights. They shine up from the bumper. This is the housing. And I've just put this in the ultrasonic cleaner. It's gotten a lot of the dust and debris off, some of the grease off. This is behind the engine, so they get kind of clogged up. But it's coming out really nice. I'm using a pencil with the eraser end. And I've just got a little bit, this is salt and vinegar. So I just dab that in there. And I just rub it there on the contact. So that's where the bulb makes contact. So it's very tarnished, it's very dull. This cleans it right up. Also taking care of some overspray on the wiring here. So this car was painted green, repainted green once, and also black. So there's a little bit of both on there. This is just acetone. Same thing, I use silicone oil on the grommets and the wire sheathing just to rejuvenate it, make it look good again. The bumper is actually threaded for these housings. Okay, that's better. Now I looked and I do not have the gaskets that go underneath the housings. So I'm gonna put some tape on the back of the housings just to prevent it from scratching the paint or indenting the paint. because normally there's rubber that always touches the paint. This side is broken. It's got an ear missing here, and it's also missing the gasket that goes between the lens and the housing. So I'm just gonna put it here temporarily and get the bezel. Oh no, that's right, it goes like that. These shine to the license light, that's right. And these screws are not the correct screws, but I will make a note of that as well. And I'm just barely tightening this down. I don't want to dig into the paint because this side is missing some of the gaskets. For this side, I was lucky enough to find in my boxes, this is new old stock inventory right from Porsche. This is the bag it came in. It's genuine Porsche parts. This is the part number on the back, and it shows NOS. I guess I paid $8 some time ago, but this is the correct gasket that goes between the bezel and the lens. So it goes like this. Oops, I forgot to put tape on the back. There they are. So I don't know if it's immediately obvious on camera, but this is the new old stock item. It's beautiful. You can see the foam kind of oozes out a little bit around the lens. And then this one here is what I call driver quality, or maybe a little worse. Some pitting in the chrome. The lens isn't as clear, and it's missing, the foam. Here are some extra parts that I have. I have another one of these bezels, and it could be polished, but it's really no better than this one. It's a little bit of pitting on it. And then here's a lens that's complete, but it's totally melted. This is what happens when you convert your car to 12 volts probably, and you didn't change the light bulb in the taillight lens, because this guy is just ruined. It's too bad. I think this is the one that came off my car. My car was converted to 12 volts. So, but what I could do is I can have this one replated while this one's just hanging out here. It's not that bad from 10 feet away. So I added license plate lights. One of the insulators missing inside the housing. Body gaskets missing, wrong screws. Need the wire terminal ends re-crimped, and re-chrome the left side. And my taillight housings aren't horrible. I'm gonna put them on as is. The lens looks pretty good, but it should have the Euro lenses. So like I said, this car was an Italian delivered car. That's why the reflectors are below the bumper. The speedometers in kilometers an hour, doesn't have the European heater system, but it has some European things. So I'm trying to keep with the European theme. The backing plate doesn't look too bad. It probably could get repainted. It's a little dinged up and it's got a tear right there. Don't know how important this is going to be for me, but I am going to just put it together as is. Also missing one of the rubber boots on that socket. I found the plate to my car. 183 6-digit plate means this car probably came to California in like the early 70s. I think the plate started with a 0 or maybe a 1, I'm not sure. So probably early 70s, this car came to California, and the last time I drove it was 2008. So it's pretty ratty. I don't know if it's best to restore this plate, or what would you do if it was your car? Would you leave it kind of the vintage patina California plate, or would you restore it to look more appropriate with the restored car? Of course, this frame is replaceable. I'll replace that. But for now, I'm just going to go ahead and put it on. And it's part of the history of the car. I want to leave it the blue plate, even though it doesn't look good with green. It is part of the history of the car. It's been with the car since the 70s. I just made that rubber gasket. It's real thin. It's going to protect the paint as this goes on. Okay, that looks pretty shabby compared to the rest of the stuff, but that's something we can address later. Mostly it's the frame. The frame is super pitted and ugly, so I'll make a list to get a new frame, maybe something vintage. The other thing I have are the emblems. So I just put a little bit of tape on the back because this goes right up against the paint. This is a real SC too. I'm not just putting the SC badge on there. Just gonna set these in here right now. This needs a little bit of a curve. There's some push rivets that go on the back, and this needs to be shaped. Right now the E is standing a little bit proud. So we'll get that sorted out. Okay, as far as the grills go, I have multiples of these, and I believe they're all originals. So let's see. There's a gasket that goes in here, but before I put the gasket in, I want to see if they're going to even fit. Yeah, I would think these would drop in a little easier. So I'm not going to force this. I'm not going to push it all the way down without the seals in, but you're kind of starting to see the picture of the back of the car mostly completed. So these need to be restored. They're looking very dull. This is aluminum, and it should polish really shiny. It should look like, not chrome, but it should be as bright as some of the chrome bits. So we'll get some restoration on that one. Like I said, I have multiples of these. Everything to this point has been original parts, or in this case, new old stock, but all original Porsche stuff. This is the deco, and it goes right here along those slotted holes. And you can see the condition of this is just been through a lot of years. You know, this car is almost 60 years old. This, I think, is the original deco that came with my car. And it's just got a lot of overspray on it. It's been stored for a long time, but there's big dents. Like right there is a really big digger. So that would have to be completely, you know, restored. There's a lot of damage here on the corner. Looks like it's been hit pretty hard, big scratches. The ends of these are like the way the original treats the ends. They're all one piece. So that's how you kind of know they're original. At least I think that's how I know they're original. This side looks better than the driver's side, but just a lot of overspray and dust on it. I have new gaskets and so forth, but I'm not gonna put this on. Obviously it looks horrible and it needs a full restoration or probably replacement. I found these pieces too. These are the original Bumperettes. They go over the rockers and right about there. The exhaust or tailpipes come through the bumper just like that. I think these have some extenders on there, but yeah, these are the original ones. I don't know if you can see that, but they're made by Huff, H-U-F-F or 1F, I can't remember. stamped 90, I think it's a 90/30. This is probably driver quality. There is a little bit of pitting, you know, right here, it's pitting. So what I'll probably do, I have extras of these too. I will install these once I clean them up a little bit more. And then in the same time, I will re-chrome or refurbish some other ones that are probably in similar condition. Here is the passenger side. A lot of just, you know, dust and debris on it. Big scrapes there on the bottom. Someone bottomed out. It's fun to get some parts on the car, but most importantly, it's good to get organized and get some things off the shelf. I've been moving some of these parts around on the shelves for years, and it's just confusing. So for me, I need to have a list. I need to highlight what needs to be done, what pieces are extra, what pieces I need, and that is really just putting them on the car. That's how I'm doing it. It's not always about appearance, it's about progress, and I really want to be driving this car in September. So this is how I do it. Thanks again for being here, and wish me luck.